Oh, I'm going to argue with this guy. Really bad.
Yeah, he flew over my head by like 5 feet.
Yeah.
And his bike came at me like a heat-seeking missile.
So I like to have a co-host that's like doesn't talk. You know what I mean? Tyson over here is pissed off because we didn't answer his question. What else you got for me about the 125?
Hold her wide open when you get it.
Okay, it's another exciting episode of Tech Talk Taco Tuesday. I can't tell you which episode this is because I didn't do my homework, but it's in the 250s. My name is Jimmy Lewis. I'm the host of this pod show, we like to call it, and I'm sitting here tonight with Nolan, who is not Logan. Nope. Nolan Cate, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so you want to gargle that mic, get it nice and close so people can hear you. And this is the show where we answer your motorcycle product related questions. We do it not every Tuesday. We only do this show when we want because we do what we want around here at the Dirt Bike Test compound. And say hi, Nolan.
Hi.
So I like to have a co-host that's like doesn't talk. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay. So I found Logan. He was this little kid. Now he's like taller than me, and he was my first co-host, which was kind of a little bit of a joke. We were actually like my friend's, Logan's dad, Jimmy, who's also co-hosts with me all the time. Like, why do you want Logan? He doesn't even talk. I'm like, perfect. So I'm just going to explain the role of the co-host here on Tech Talk Taco Tuesday, because evidently I have a drinking problem. Like, I like to drink, and if I'm the only one talking and then I start drinking, and I'm just talking about just like drinking anything, if I start drinking, I can't talk. So at that point, it's your job to carry on the conversation. Do we have this? Is it clear?
Yes.
Got it clear. Okay. Yeah. Perfect. Nolan's are you a professional motorcycle racer now?
I guess. Race a pro class.
You've received a check for racing motorcycles?
Yes.
Welcome to the club. So he has, we'll talk about our experience. We had a little experience today. Some. You got thrown into the Jimbo program.
Yeah, Jimbo. I was accepted in the Jimbo program today.
Yeah, courtesy of your uncle Johnny Campbell.
Yes.
Yeah. So Johnny's trying to help me out by providing me with fresh riders that are capable, that can handle whatever I do. What did we do today, by the way?
We went and checked a road book today.
Mm-hmm.
From Needles to Pahrump.
Right. Whose road book was it?
Ricky Brabeck's.
Ricky Brabeck's road book. He's been working on that thing for 2.5 years. It's like literally he owed me that road book for 2.5 years. And he finally got it done. And we went out and did it because we're deep into rally training right now. It's grind time. What do they call it? Boot camp, right?
Boot camp, yeah.
Boot camp. There's a lot of stuff going on. Bike stuff going on. Training going on. All kinds of things. Like whether it's 2 wheels or 4 wheels, it's rally training boot camp, even though that probably should have happened 8 months ago. But there's this prep that goes on. This should be like the final push. So that's what's going on here. And we're going to answer. We'll talk about that. Doug Derby wanted to know if this was live, and yes, this is live. That's why it's so crappy, because if we produced it, it might actually be better. And Joe Bummy has a question, and we answer the questions that come up in the chat, like literally as they come up in the chat, and then we'll go back and answer questions that people have commented on our videos. So if you're watching this live, you can ask questions. We encourage you to ask questions. All 14 million people that are watching this live right now, because this is the number one motorcycle product related podcast in the world that you're lucky enough to be viewing, because we try to keep it secret. That's why we don't do it that often. Joe wants to know, what does Joe want to know?
KTM 500 2025 best ECU exhaust combo in your opinion?
Okay, we had some discussions today, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
We did on the trail. We were talking about different things. What do you think my answer is going to be?
Completely stock.
Pretty much.
Pretty much.
So KTM 500 EXC, the best ECU for that bike is pretty much the stock one. And the exhaust, I'm not going to say it's the stock exhaust is the best, but what was I riding with today?
Stock exhaust.
Okay. And I get all those exhausts for free, right? I can generally call somebody up and say, hey, well, they always want me to do something like post something or do an Instagram thing where I look at unbox it, or maybe I put it on my bike and say, this thing's so rad, it just roosts. Well, bike kind of does that without, but anyways, so I can get almost all the different exhausts for free if I just make the call, but I don't want to feel obligated to do it. And so I'm just lazy, and I would like to have, there's a certain exhaust that I would like to have on that bike that I have on my other bike, but I just didn't feel like switching it because it runs just I don't know. It actually, my bike works so good today that the only reason I don't like the stock exhaust is it runs a little hot. Like the exhaust gets hot, and then some of those deeper sand washes, I was getting little, like this morning when we got gas, like we were going up that first sand wash and I laid into it a couple times and I got the little detonation.
Yeah.
It's just because that exhaust is a little bit restrictive and it adds a little bit of heat. It adds heat to the motor, and that's what was causing kind of the detonation. So those are the best ones. But you want to know what he really wants to know, and we talked about this.
Yeah.
He wants to modify his bike.
Mm-hmm.
So the best ECU exhaust combo depends, Joe, on what you are trying to accomplish. And a good ECU allows you to tune the ECU and make the bike into whatever you want it to be. And generally, the exhaust would play a part in that equation. So if you just throw an exhaust on, and like I said, there's an exhaust I would like to put on my 500, but it isn't as good, like kind of on the first eighth to quarter throttle. Every place else is better. But that initial, so sometimes when you're kind of just setting up for a turn and you want a certain kind of power delivery, if it flutters a little bit because it's a little bit lean, which is what happens when you open up the exhaust, it's not as good. And so I'm now debating whether I want to, until I get a different ECU where I'm able to do some ECU tuning, which is problematic on the emissions compliant bikes. So it's a good question. So if you can tell me what you're looking for, Joe, I can give you some opinions, and that's all they are. Did I answer that question? Some people say I go off on the deep end sometimes.
No, I'd say you answered it.
Answered it. Okay. Next question. You're next. We have a studio in-guest guy who has questions about a Honda, so both me and you can help him with that. Okay. What's Doug Derby want to know?
What's a good set of dual sport tires for a Husky 501 for the Death Valley area? No hard enduro.
Pirellis. Pirelli helps us out with some of the stuff that I do. I know the JCR guys, you run Pirellis.
Yes.
So the interesting thing is Pirelli has a wide range of dual sport tires, and it depends on like, do you need to be like DOT, like Death Valley area? What would I run there? The XC, the MX Extras. Have you run those? You guys run the mid hard.
I run the mid hards.
Mid hards, but they're knobbies. But and then Pirelli has the infamous MT21. And I say infamous because we used to run them all the time because they would last forever and they would get the job done. So those are like dual sport tires, real 50/50. The problem is that the MT21 front tire is a little bit small. It doesn't look as bulky, and it is actually a little bit small. I have a set mounted up. I ran them for a little while and didn't pay attention to them and then took them off because I had to run something else to test something. But those are dual sport tires. They were really good. There's a bunch of other tires as well. Excuse me, that you can choose from, but that's what we're thinking. No hard enduro. Yeah, they'll and some people are worried about like, oh, if I run my tire when I'm riding down the street, is it going to like wear off or knobs fly out or something like that? Now somebody's what do they call it when people poke at you with information? If you're looking at the chat right now, you just saw JB Black do that to me.
I don't know.
That's a lap time at the go-kart track. You know, we were trying to go to the go-kart track last night, but we were out of town by the time I got the info.
Okay.
Gino, who's the owner of the go-kart track, who's really good at this, did a 17.2. I don't remember what my time was. I want to say it was like 18 something or other.
Oh, wow.
And like to get a second in a 17 lap time track is crazy. And yeah, that's a ball buster time. Okay, so Joe Bummy has a backup to his question.
He says he's tired of flameouts that are happening at the worst time possible, looking for a tune that would just unleash all the power.
So flameouts that happen at the worst time possible. A lot of times that doesn't necessarily change with the ECUs, Joe, because what's happening is you're at such a low RPM that you're probably doing something kind of big with the throttle, and since it's a 4-stroke, there's a lot of downtime between that firing stroke, and you make a significant change in the throttle, and the bike can't compensate for it, and there's not a lot of flywheel inertia and different things go on. So you're talking about low RPM, big throttle position change, and it can't do it, and it basically backfires or flameouts or whatever you want to call it, stalls. It happened to me today. I did one when we were turning around. When I went the wrong way, we were turning around, and I don't know if you were looking. It was
I don't notice.
It was I was going to turn around and it just went puka. I was probably in third gear trying to turn around. And what the heck? Oh, I guess our Google meeting's dying because nobody wants to. It ended because everyone left. That's what usually happens when I do a meeting. Well, if you want to get in the show on the meeting, let me know. I can send you a thing. So, yeah, flameouts generally do happen at the worst possible time. And they usually happen when you're out of balance, and since you lose your balance, you lose control of your right wrist, and you turn your hand a little bit too far, and it makes the bike cough stall. A tuner will probably not help that, in all honesty, because most ECUs that you can buy readily available are tuned on a dyno. And bikes don't stall on a dyno because there's a big heavy weight kind of spinning the wheel. And very rarely do the guys ever check at the RPMs that the flameouts happen, do anything. And my number one biggest complaint with any ECU, almost most ECUs that I've ridden, is they're not tuned at that super low RPM. What we're just talking about, where you want that bike to do something. And I like really trusting the torque of the motorcycle, trusting that kind of inertia down there. If I didn't, I would just turn the throttle farther. If I wasn't worried about it, and any of them will get any pipe, any ECU will give you, it will unleash all the power. I guarantee you that their dyno chart's going to look way better up in the area where you never ride. I'm such an ass. Up in the area where you never or very rarely ride. I mean, you'll go out and you'll take it and you'll go someplace and you'll turn it wide open and go, oh yeah, and then there's my $1,700 and I feel it. But I pulled out when we hit the pavement that one time today, and I turned my bike. What happened?
Yeah, you almost looped out.
No, the front wheel came up. All that 35 horsepower on my KTM 500. So yeah, kind of, yeah, I mean, and maybe the flameouts will be less prevalent. They can richen them up on the KTM on the emissions bikes. They can richen them up a little bit, which is what they always do, and maybe that'll help. But also, it can easily make it way worse depending on what the cause of the problem is, which is usually inconsistent throttle openings or doing something with the throttle that is not what's normal. So, hopefully I answered your question on that one. So if you have any more questions, throw them into the chat. If you are watching this later, like not on a Tuesday night, and you say, I have a question for this guy, I should ask him, throw it up in the chat, because we go back onto all the comments that you do. I don't answer them, like type answer them back. We bring them up, which we'll do next on this show. But Bryce, we have a Pahrump local who has some questions about his Honda. Come over here and sit down.
All right.
We're bringing in Bryce Shemp to the show. Welcome, Bryce.
Howdy.
You're on the guest thing there. Yeah, you don't necessarily have to put those on unless we take a call.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because it sounds almost exactly the same, maybe worse. Have you ever listened to yourself, like when you record yourself?
Yeah. Who's that?
Talk to that microphone there. Gotcha. Make sure everybody can hear Bryce. Hopefully, usually all the chat does is tell us how crappy of a show, and the sound is really sucky. Which, like, get me a sound engineer. So we help Joe's question. Hey, Joe, by the way, if you do need an ECU, what you do need to do, and you can talk to the guy who will tell you how good an ECU is, go to Tacomoto. That's tacomoto.co. Send them an email. Ask them a little bit about the ECUs, and they can explain all the differences. They have things where you can flash your stock one. They have you can buy Get Tunes, and there's a couple others that they have as well. So check out Tacomoto, and if you're not happy with theirs, send us an email. Send Jimmy@dirtbiketest.com. Send me an email, and I can tell you a few other different people that do those as well. But Tacomoto actually, they always support us when we do a segment called Roosterendo. Heard of Roosterendo?
I have not.
You haven't? Well, it's where you get us a picture of your motorcycle, then you tell us what you did to it, and then we comment on that.
Oh, I could do that.
Yeah, so you can win $100 from Tacomoto if your bike gives us, we say, the most enjoyment. So
I'll sign up for that.
Okay, Bryce, welcome to the show.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for coming on. You have some questions, so you're getting in-person. By the way, I got something for you. What do you got? What did you get here?
There you go. I got Ricky's autograph.
Yeah, so Bryce came by the other day, saw the boys out doing some testing, and show the camera what you got there.
There you go.
He's got his Ricky Brabeck autographed posters. So okay,
And Skylar.
Sweet.
and Skylar's too. Skylar as well.
Yeah, I had him sign my front fender when I found him out in the desert.
But Ricky was out riding.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't get Ricky. So.
Didn't get Ricky's. But we talked to him. We got him to. He's a big important guy, but he took the time to sign that thing. So what's your question?
So I'm in a dilemma where I'm absolutely stumped right now. Has to do with my front suspension.
Okay.
So
Okay. Tell us your make and model.
it's a 2023 CRF 450R that I put a bunch of money and parts into. So it's basically an RX now.
Okay, so it started as an R,
Yeah,
and you've made it into an RX.
pretty much.
Got it.
Yeah. But problem I'm having is my front suspension. I greased everything. I was maintenance, and then I put it all back together, and I got on the bike, getting all the feeling done, and I just compressed on the forks, and they dropped, and they got stuck. And you got to give them a good push down for them to compress and rebound back out.
Okay, so when the bike was brand new in stock, this wasn't a problem.
No.
Okay.
It was after I got my suspension done in probably
Okay.
about 30 hours.
Okay. So if you would have left it stock, this problem wouldn't have occurred.
I I don't know. I was having a problem with the stock suspension.
No, but it didn't stick halfway down and go up. So something's wrong.
Yeah, so I figured out it was my triple clamps were bent. So I thought it was binding up my forks.
Right.
No. So this is the way we do this on the show, or just in life. This is in general. This is a good thing. It's like, what was the last thing you touched or what you did? So if it was working fine before, like as far as the function, we're not talking about the outright performance. If the function was working good, in other words, the forks were moving up and down without sticking, what did you do between them working good and then getting the sticking? You said you had them serviced or valved or done something. Yeah. So, I mean, I didn't get this problem until I know just now recently.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what I would say is there's a whole bunch of things, and Nolan can vouch for this too. Like when you put forks onto a bike, and you saw this because didn't Kendall come over and torque wrench your bike?
Yeah, it wasn't that embarrassing a little bit.
Right. So people, whether it's setting the sag or torquing bolts or just general maintenance, and the fact that you said you're greasing parts, that's good. Yeah. Parts need, especially when bikes are, 5, 10, 15 hours in, it's probably not a bad idea to make sure there's grease in all the right places. And then when you do put it back together, look at that damn manual, and it gives you some torque specs, and put those on there, put the torque wrench on there and check it. When you assemble a front end, you want to take this, Nolan?
Yeah.
I'm getting kind of thirsty here.
Okay.
I need to, I want to have a sip. Yeah. What, first of all, what's the most important thing besides torque is everything's what?
Straight.
Yes.
And settled. You want to make sure everything's straight and then settled into their position before you torque everything down. And pinch bolts on your triple clamps are very important, which could be a cause to your fork sticking.
Yeah.
And you said that you had bent triple clamps. That didn't involve Big John, did it?
Big John.
Remember, Big John Perkins? Weren't you?
See, yeah, that might have been why those were bent.
Big John, another great co-host on this show.
That was crazy.
It's funny because he was in a local desert race here, and there was evidently a pileup with 4 Hondas in the pileup. It was really dusty and nobody saw anything. But John came into this thing and he tried to not kill you or somebody else.
No, he tried not to kill my buddy that was stuck under the bike with someone else.
So it was just in the dust. Dust cleared. All of a sudden there's a guy underneath his bike. And so John, he probably could have just lifted and wheelied over the guy, like his neck. But he decided to turn out of the way, and he did a big old cartwheel. And his bike was perfect. Nothing happened at that time to his bike, but he broke his femur really bad.
Yeah, he flew over my head by like 5 feet.
Yeah.
And his bike came at me like a heat-seeking missile.
Okay, so this might be why your triple clamp was bent.
Yeah, I did that whole race with my whole front end loose. Like you could shake it back and forth, up and down.
Yeah.
So
that's not good.
No, I didn't figure that out until after the race.
Okay, so we talked about torquing everything's in. So even to the point where when you put your axle in, on your front wheel, if you put your axle in, you want that sucker to slide in nice and straight. If you have to wiggle and jiggle a lot because it's out of line, like a lot of time the shoulder, where the shoulder of the bolt goes in, some people, they can't get that in because it's so out of line. It's a millimeter or 2 up and down because the forks aren't the right height level. Little things like that make a huge difference. So what I would suggest is you're probably at this point where take it all apart. Take the forks off, take the front wheel off, take the forks off and check to make sure they move smoothly on their own. Okay, verify that those things are working by themselves, because I'd be willing to bet more money than I can afford to lose that something in that is out of line and it's causing some sort of a binding.
Yeah.
And so I would take everything off, check each fork, make sure the forks work. If the forks are sticky or there's something wrong with it, then we need to talk about whoever did the service, the valving, the whatever. There's a lot of people that claim they know how to do suspension, and they just know how to take your money and tell you it's better. So So that's number one. Then put it all back together. You know, you just got the new triple clamp, so I'm sure the bearings are all greased, everything. There's a really specific way to torque down the triple clamps. And you want to do the triple tree on the bike all by itself with nothing else on it. And generally it involves, you know, putting it in there, kind of making sure it's all square, then with the nut that's holding just the bottom on, you kind of generally over torque it and then loosen it up and bring it back into torque spec. And it requires a special, you know, there's that 4-fingered or there's that socket that goes over the top. You can do it with castle nut. Is that what it's called?
Castle nut. So.
There we go. Yeah. You're rolling right in here. You're better than Logan already. I'm going to say. So you want to get that bottom one all nice and tight. Set the top one back on top. Usually you put the fork. Set the bolt that holds that down. Put the forks into it so they're centered, and then there's a torquing procedure for that upper bolt as well. And you can't. And I've seen people do this before. Is they put their forks in there and clamp it and then torque that top one down, and the fork is now like, bound differently. So there's a procedure for doing that where you want to like slide the forks in there. Usually you they're not torqued yet. You just hold the lower parts, the lower clamp, you tighten those ones down. You put the top triple tree, you know, make sure that everything's all squared up, and then with the top triple clamp bolts loose, that's when you torque down the upper bolt.
Oh, okay. Yeah, see, I did that process a little differently.
Okay. So
I just put it all together, put the forks in, but I did test the forks like you said, and it wasn't sticking off the bike.
Right.
So it might be something with the installation, but
okay, so
I did a lot of research.
Yeah, you know, make sure everything's going together kind of in a procedure. It keeps everything straight. And then the next thing is you want to check to make sure, because if your triple clamp was bent, your stock triple clamp was bent, there's a fairly good chance that your axle could also be bent.
Oh, that makes sense.
And if the axle is bent, that's going to put everything into a bind. So lots of different things there, but I don't know if in the manual it tells you like if there's a procedure. That'd be a good video to do if I did a show called Today in the Shop where I actually showed somebody how to reassemble the front end.
I got a bike for it.
I need somebody to point a camera at me when I do this crap. We should talk. But you have a real job.
Yeah.
Yeah. And hey, kudos to Bryce. He works for the town here. And he comes out and preps our kids' mini bike track when we have ride days, and he knows what he's doing.
It's a blast.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, and it's awesome to see the kids out there enjoying the fruits of our labor. But I'm a big kid, and I ride that track. Have you seen the new jumps they put there?
I have not. I just seen it
on
Instagram.
I only saw it on Instagram too. I don't know. We have a meeting on Thursday. I'll go and find out all about it. But that's where things are going. Okay, so we have Anthony. Anthony wants to call in. Anthony, I'm going to get to you. I'll give you a call. I think. Where are we at with? There's an update from the NorCal office. That's the electric. That up in NorCal they do electric bikes. I've got to do a lot of updates. Mark Allen, 357.
Hi, Jimmy. Do you typically apply grease to the seal where it contacts the wheel spacer? Grease might attract dirt and wear down the spacers faster, but keep moisture out.
So he's talking about like in the wheels where the kind of the aluminum spacers pop into that dust seal. So I don't ever put dust on or grease on the outside. There's usually grease on the inside.
Yes.
Like if you look at it's a double lip seal, and I usually like to have a little bit of grease kind of on the inside of that seal just in case like water tries to get in there. It helps it. I used to pack those things up with quite a bit of grease, just because I thought it would help with stuff, and I haven't, because the bearings in there are all sealed, generally sealed bearings. I like to keep, inside the center of the wheel on that spacer that's inside of there. I like to keep kind of some grease around that guy. I'll put grease inside of that because a lot of time it's a much bigger diameter than the axle. But if you have extra grease in there, it doesn't help. It doesn't hurt. So, but I don't put it on the outside, and I don't know if it'll wear down the spacer. Yeah, I guess it could help wear down. Any dirt might wear down the spacer, but if that seal's lubed up just a little bit, it's going to be enough to help it.
A little, but not too much.
Yeah, but not on the outside. Yeah, so that's what we do. Marco says, "Drink up, boys," and he's got the cold. So Marco is the mayor up at Mammoth, like the unofficial mayor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He's legend in the action sports community. If you want to know what the next thing is, you talk to Marco because he's already done it and he's over it by the time it's cool. That happened with snowboards, it happened with mountain boards, it happened with everything. It was awesome. I used to hang around with them and we got to do some pretty cool stuff. So now his kids are killing it and snowboarding and doing videos. What's the name? What's the name of their video? What's the name of the video, Marco? I'll give it a plug. If you want to watch crazy stuff on snowboards, it's DH Sleeper is on Instagram. That's Dylan, and I don't know what Dusty's Instagram is, but those kids shred. Suspension for rich kids. Just suspension is for rich kids. Just learn how to ride your bike the way it came. Trust me, you'll have fun. Okay. Tyson Wallace says,
I'm 11.
Is that like on a scale of what, 1 to 10?
I guess.
He's rad.
Yeah, he's rad.
Yeah, Tyson. That's rad. Yeah, and Anthony wants to know what kind of riding you're doing, Tyson. Chris Reel.
Check everything. Check the axle in your forks without the wheel. Check the axle fitment after a crash.
Check your head after a crash.
Make sure it slides in just like butter.
Okay, so Tyson is into track riding, and he's 5.5. What does that mean?
I don't know.
Is that better? So is that on a scale of 1 to 5, and you're going?
Did Tyson ask a question maybe before?
I don't think so. Let's see.
Oh, should I get a 24 YZ 125?
And he's 5.
And he's 11.
He's 11, and he's
5.5 feet tall, or 5.5
for track riding.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. At 5.5 feet tall, he's definitely tall enough to ride it. I mean, like I know girls that are 5'5" and they ride YZ 125s. By the way, this show is brought to you by Yamaha. So don't think that anything I say is going to influence you to buy a Yamaha. But since you're talking Yamahas, yeah, YZ 125 is the bike to buy. At 11, that's tall, isn't it? For 11-year-old? What does he bench press? We need to know that. Yeah, let's give us a bench press number there. We're into the things. Buster is the name of the videos. If you want to watch some sick snowboarding videos, watch Busters. Yeah. Dusty Hendrickson on Instagram and DH Sleeper on Instagram for Dusty's brother. I'll bet you Dylan loves to be called Dusty's brother. So these kids, like Marco's always been a bro of mine, super cool. And he brought him to Endurocross, and I just, it was back when I was a magazine guy, I had so much, I gave him some goggles. Kids still have the goggles. They thought they were cool. Now these kids are rad, but it's pretty funny. He sold me a snowboard too. Got a really good deal, and now one of them has a signature model. I got to check my phone, but I don't know where it is. Ricky's telling me to check my phone. Where's my phone?
Just heard it ring somewhere.
You heard it ring?
Yeah.
Something vibrated? Did you steal my phone? We're losing stuff here. Let's see, Mark Allen, thanks for the wheel advice. Go ahead and do that. I'm going to try to find a phone. This is the best show because we're so prepared. Oh, I see it over there. It's hidden. Ask.
So Mark Allen says, I finally got my 501 back on Friday with a new camshaft under warranty for the broken decompression weight.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, we helped him. We helped him out on the show. He had this problem, and it was crazy. He's benching. Oh, he went. Tyson's benching 90, now 95.
95 pounds. And he rides his dad's 450.
Oh, and he rips.
Yeah.
That's good. 5'5". I got it. He's I think he's okay for a YZ120. What does your dad say about YZ125? Okay, Tyson, what's your bike right now? And what are, let's see, if you ride your dad's 450, that's pretty good. Let's see. Let's see. I got messages here. What is the email for Rooster Endo? That's what Ricky wants to know. You'd think he would know. He submitted. It started being called Roost Endo or For Sale, because every time Ricky had a bike for sale, he would submit it for Rooster Endo, and then we'd get him on the horn, and he would say, "Oh yeah, it's for sale if you want to buy it." I think we sold some of his bikes. I didn't even get a commission. And Marco says, "Tell Ricky thanks for letting us golf his course at Willow Valley. That'd be a great place for a GP. Like when we rode out it's up the street from where we rode out, but they have a little golf course in there."
Nice.
Yeah. Oh, he's right. Tyson's a big wheel 85. So yeah, that's the next step. Is a 125 is the next step from big wheel 85 for sure. So what brand you on? You got to be Blue Crew, right, Tyson? If he's going YZ 125, there's a picture in his profile.
I think it's a YZ125.
Is it a YZ 125 in his profile, or is it?
Like it. I don't know.
He's already he's one step ahead. Yeah. So sometimes we say Tyson at 11. Sometimes we say bad words in this show. So make sure that you're allowed to watch this, because we're going to start giving you all this advice, and your dads go, "Where'd you learn all this stuff?" From those guys. So, okay. Okay, we're going to move on to. So, do we answer all your questions?
Yeah,
Bryce?
pretty much. So, also, my stock suspension, the reason I got it done was every time I would accelerate, I would hear when the forks
Top out.
extended. Yeah, all the time. I never had that problem until I got my suspension done. It went away.
Are you trying to keep a straight face, Nolan? As a Honda guy?
Yeah.
Is that a thing? Because I had KTM's my whole life. This is my first Japanese bike.
Top out is a thing.
Yes.
But
It's
a thing.
It's a thing, and it's funny because it feels worse than it is.
Mm-hmm.
This is something I complain about. If there's this thing I do called dirtbiketest.com, and we actually complained about that, probably on the test of your particular bike. Actually, I never really I don't notice on the motocross bikes. I notice it more on the RX, and just because maybe the way the setting is. And I remember when some of the show guys were out here, was asking about that, because it was more annoying than it was. It just you would hear it. You feel it.
You feel it in the hands.
You feel it. It's like someone's tapping.
Yeah.
And did the valving, the suspension guy make that go away?
Yeah, completely went away. It's nice now.
So they do something with the top out spring to change it. Right, Nolan?
Yeah, sometimes they feel like, yeah.
Another different top out spring, or
Yeah, or sometimes just your weight and how you ride could affect it too, I guess.
Huh. Yeah.
Just the way your fork rebound, I don't know.
Yeah, I had like I said, I have had that happen a couple times, and the show guys were out here doing something else with race stuff, and I asked them about it. And it was funny. He goes, "Give me your shock." For the fork, he was like, "Give me your shock," and he did something to the shock, and it made it go away a lot. And I think it was just,
probably the way how deep you're riding in the stroke and how the rebound probably.
Yeah. And because they're aware of it, they know what it is. But it's like I said, it feels worse than it is, and I could see if you're not used to something like that.
Yeah.
Like today, I was crazy how much I was noticing vibration on my KTM, and I usually don't notice this, and I don't know why. All of a sudden, I'm gonna go, okay, what have I been riding lately? And I've been riding my Husaberg lately, and the Husaberg, the piston goes this direction. It doesn't go up and down. It goes this direction. And I'm like, and I've been riding a 2-stroke a lot lately, and so it's like, oh, now but it's the little things that you kind of pick up and notice. So, okay, so. Now we know why you had the suspension done. I thought you were going to say because it just bottomed out like crazy, or it did,
No, it honestly scared me at first because, like I said, it was my first Japanese bike, and I was like, man, is it already broken? I just got it.
Yeah. And so you also, so you ran into, just because this just happens, you ran into a factory Honda race team out in the middle of the desert. Mm-hmm. And you pulled up and you asked a couple questions about your bike. And the first thing they just pulled out a torque wrench to come and help you. How was that axle? I'm swing arm pivot.
Oh, wow. Well, yeah. So usually I see those guys out in the desert and I leave them be. But this is the first time I ever saw Johnny Campbell, so I had to go over there. And
we don't know who he is.
Yeah, so I asked him a little tips and stuff, and Kendall brought out the torque wrench and looked over, and my nut was about to fall off.
Oh.
So Skylar kind of clowned me a little bit, and I was like, yeah, that's kind of embarrassing.
Yeah.
But it was a blast. Super nice people. They signed my front fender, and they're just legends. So I was glad to be out there with them.
Yeah, I know. It was. I pulled up a little bit later and I heard the story. Well, you texted me. You're like, "Hey, I want to get Ricky Brabeck to sign my fender," and I'm like, "Well, obviously, I didn't know that you'd been there, but I'm like, you figure, maybe you saw the van or whatever here." And I'm like, "Well, you know enough to like figure out where it was," and then I realized, okay, he wasn't there when you were there.
Yeah, he was talking, doing his testing, so I was like, I'll let him be.
Yeah. Oh no, bug him. Just bug that guy. All he does is bug me. Look, he's texting me right now. I'm trying to figure out like how to sell a motorcycle on this show. If you want to buy one of Ricky Brabeck's bikes on this show, put a message in the chat. I'll put you in touch. Give you his personal phone number. You can call him up and see what's for sale over there at the Rip and Sip Ranch. Okay, so we're going to move on to this section of the show where we answer all the questions that you put in the comments of our videos. So it's been a little while since you've been here. I've gone back almost a month, so we've got a few questions. And what does Chris Lewis say?
YZ250X is the best woods 4-stroke.
I agree, because this show is brought to you by Yamaha. Yamaha makes the YZ250FX. You have to race against. You used to have to race against those.
Used to.
Yeah, you're 450 guy now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I agree. I have a brand new YZ250FX in that shop, and I need to go shoot photos of it before I ride it. And I was supposed to go race it, but I got sick and I didn't race it. But that would have been cool. What does Dr. D Dougherty do too say?
I have mixed feelings. Can-Am building bikes again, or Can-Am is building bikes again. Yeah, but it's electric. They got any real bikes in the works? ?
They have electric bikes in the works. So, and then somebody said it's my brother-in-law saying happy birthday, which is kind of strange because like he's saying happy birthday to his sister, which is my wife, on YouTube. Like that's a great, should I call my wife and tell her that that's the thing? Let's see. Here's one. What does Kenny B 7883 say?
You guys look like you have high-end microphones, yet it sounds like you are all talking through a cheap mic. That's so far away. Something's not right in the setup.
Kenny B. I told you they're going to complain about the sound, right?
Yeah.
Well, so if you're listening to this right now and these sound like cheap microphones, actually, I'll tell you I know what the problem is. So Bryce's microphone runs a little bit hot, that one over there, and it picks up a lot of noise, and there's like some sort of a delay. So sometimes it does sound like a cheap microphone, and usually people will put it in the chat, but if they don't, I don't pay much attention, and my editing skills are really not that good. There's all these buttons you could push if you knew what you were doing to fix it. But since Kenny B, you brought it up, I'm going to do something here. We're going to go to Kenny's B's YouTube channel and see what he's into. He has one video posted. Kenny B, he looks like he's a military guy. I appreciate that. So yeah, why don't you come in here and fix my microphones? This is all I like to say. Joe Stratman
says cool video.
Yeah. That was get her done.
That was get her done.
Yeah, you gotta say this because I'm about ready to have another one of these. What does Kenny B say?
Says audio is still awful.
Thanks, Kenny. I appreciate you checking in with us. Let's see, 262, and then where's his other? Did he? Where's his other reply on this? Well, but Gibbs says,
great video.
Right. Okay. So we have 263. Yeah, I guess we didn't fix it. Kenny's 1 month ago. Yeah, he's just beating on us. Let's see. Let's go up to some other good questions here. Oh, what is Jimmy Cronwell?
How can I listen to the rest of this conversation?
So he is watching a short that we posted, and this is what Anthony. I should probably give Anthony a call. Anthony wants to put more of these shorts up. I guess they're big on the YouTubes, and he did one where I compared an XR650 to a KTM 500 for the best dirt bike ever, which that's like a really unfair. Hey, you know where we rode today when we were up in the mountains, and I said I don't know if where we saw the CHP officer.
Oh yeah.
And then we went up there, and I wasn't really sure where we were going to go.
Yeah.
You want to know the last time I rode up there and what I was riding?
Right.
Nobody had ever seen a Honda XR650 before. Okay. And Johnny and I raced it in Vegas to Reno, and that's where we tested it. Like we did the setup on the bike, was up on those little roads, because it's kind of the same as some of Vegas to Reno stuff. We were more worried about, we knew it would go fast in a straight line, but how would it work on that more technical stuff? And that's where we rode, was up there, mountain up in the mountain there, which is pretty cool. So, Jimmy, if you want to listen to the rest of this conversation, you can. And Dale, thank you, Dale. Dale says you go to Tech Talk Taco Tuesday number 9 on YouTube. YouTube. Yeah. So a lot of these shorts that we cut out are from old episodes. I don't have the time to go cut them out and figure out where they came from, but I'll tell somebody who's smarter than me to put that information in there. So if you want to listen to the whole conversation, but we, just like on this show, we have conversations about this kind of stuff all the time. So you could actually listen to Tech Talk Taco Tuesday, whatever this one is. I'm going to say it's like 254 or 55. And you could listen to 256 and we might have the same conversation again. So you never know. What does Michael Rodriguez 8142 want to know?
What Dunlop tires were you guys using?
Well, they should have been using Pirelli tires, but this is Trevor conquering the Big Bear hard route on a KLX 300 and a CRF 300L. They were actually running like MX 81s or MX 32s. They put full on off-road tires on those bikes to do that, because I don't think the 606. I think the 606 would have done just fine on those. But anyways, they're talking about the 2025 CRF 450 RX. Is it better than the old one? And George Edwards wants to know, he says,
and still has the same crappy MX gearbox.
Okay. Andy Wobum says, I haven't ridden this Honda. Okay. This is great. He's going to comment on the video that he's going to answer the guy that says it has the same crappy MX gearbox. So the gearboxes are exactly the same between Honda. That's what you have.
Yes, sir.
And so you have the crappy MX gearbox?
Yeah, it's pretty short, but I geared mine and put a flywheel weight on it, so it's a lot better.
Right. So there's ways around this stuff. Andy owns a 25 Yamaha 450 FX, expert level. It has a wide ratio. Like, again, this show is brought to you by Yamaha, so I'm only pointing out the good points with anything Yamaha. You'll never hear me say anything bad about Yamahas on this show. But most guys who have ridden both the F and FX models, me included, actually prefer the MX gearing. First gear is almost unusable. He's talking about Yamaha. With the gearing up on sprockets, I almost always start in second, and either third needs to be a little higher and fourth a little lower, and fifth might give you a few miles an hour faster than the moto gearing. The 6 speeds hurt reliability. I wouldn't let the gearing, especially on a 450, break the deal. I completely disagree with almost everything that Andy says, and I even disagree with the crappy MX gearbox comment from George. But hold on. George comes back, and what does he say?
He says, to hear the other side of the story, 450 not so bad as it has plenty of power, but the 250R and RX share the same gearbox. It should at least have a wide ratio in it. It all comes down to the cost from the bean counters?
Bean counters, yeah.
Bean counters.
That's what we call an accountant. When you get older and you start making money, you have to have an accountant, and you just call him a bean counter.
Bean counter.
Yeah.
I've gone away from the Honda RX models for that reason, not to mention the Yamaha FX models have so many more features compared to everyone else.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yamaha Blue Crew.
I've just purchased a 2026 YZ250FX to go with my 25 CRF 450R Works Edition, seeing I still like doing some MX every now and then.
So, I don't know. So, 250 on the 250 RX, that's a 6-speed gearbox.
5-speed.
It's 5 on the 250. Yeah. Which is it the KTMs that have the 6-speed gearbox in their 250s? Yamaha has it.
And KTM.
Mm-hmm.
Yamaha and KTM have 6-speed gearbox on their 250Fs, even the motocross one.
No.
Both,
I think KTM and Yamaha, the motocross, have 5-speed, and then their FX and KTM XC have 6-speed.
Yeah, I can't remember all this
KTM
stuff.
motocross might have 6-speed. I don't know.
Yeah, I had an XCF right before I got the Honda. Traded in for the Honda.
The KTM 250?
No, it was a 450 XCF, but
because they used to have a 4-speed in them.
Really?
Yeah, they had a 4-speed for a while, and then I think they went to 5-speed, and then the trick was to put the 6-speed in them. I mean, there's something to be said for it. It kind of depends on what you're trying to, what you're really trying to accomplish. Like if you're doing a certain kind of racing, and it's really rare, even as much as people think that they need the 6-speed, that they're ever really topping the bike out in 5th. And that's what I say. You kind of like gear it, and sometimes, they gear it too much. I always like to have a 6-speed that was an overdrive. And as far as 5 speeds go, I think on the 450 specifically, because I have one, the Yamaha spread on the YZ450 FX is really, really good because I can gear it up just a little bit if I want to go faster, but then first gear is like a tractor. It's like you go down, even stock, it's a real tractor, but if I get into something really technical, I can just drop it down to first gear and let go of the clutch. I never have to use the clutch. Where a lot of times on the motocross gearbox, if you gear it up, you have to be a little bit on the clutch, even in first gear sometimes. So, but it really it kind of all depends on the situation. But yeah, it comes down to cost. It's a lot easier to have the same gearbox in multiple models for sure. And in reality, most people don't need either that really low first or that really tall sixth. And if you need to shuffle the box around, that's what that final drive gearing is for. So it's sort of knowing what your intended purpose is. Like when you start getting into like a dual sport bike where you want a really tall sixth, to lug down roads at 60 and 70 miles an hour, that helps. Like the bike I was riding today, I have a one bigger countershaft tooth on my KTM 500, and it's just to spread the gears out because that bike, I'm not going to go single track riding on it. And so first gear can be a little bit taller, and it's not a problem. And then sixth gear is real comfortable. So, okay. Enough gearbox talks. 6-speed like the YZ, XCF, and Beta RR models. Right. I think if people could ask for one thing, I think that's it. But you know what? What's that bike that they make that has that in there?
450X.
Exactly.
If they need a 6-speed, they need a 450X.
Right. So, and what do you guys race like? What do you race in Hare and Hounds?
450RX with RX with 5-speed.
5-speed. Yeah.
Don't need 6-speed.
What do you race in Vegas to Reno?
450X with 6-speed.
Because you need a 6-speed.
Yeah.
That's the place you need 6-speed. No. It must be nice to have whatever bike you need available to you, right? Let's see. The issue with the RX is that in California, it's a red sticker bike, closed course competition only. The regular X model is green sticker and can be modded to cheat the system. LW3918 says, and now the California law enforcement's coming after you. Let's see. What does this person say? What is Pine Cone Pirate?
I ran into you on your tour of Idaho run years ago at 12 Mile Saddle. How is your gear ratio compared to the 690?
He's talking about an AJP PR7 adventure bike compared to the 690, which is the KTM 690. I guess he's talking about, which is a bike that I typically pretty much just talk about how much I hate it all the time. It's a wide that's wide ratio. The AJP seemed like it was pretty wide ratio, but they're not like performance bikes. So I'm glad that he ran into me. I don't remember him running into me, and I can't exactly compare the AJP gear ratio to the 690 because I never had those bikes back to back. But I don't even know if it has a 5 or a 6 speed in it, to be honest with you. Yeah, I have to check my facts. What does Roman Rams Gubinow say? Talking about our SP Connect phone case. That's what you saw when my phone was hanging out all day today.
Oh, yeah.
On the motorcycle, charging.
Yeah.
It was on an SP Connect, exactly the same one that we're talking about here.
Okay. Every time I attach this thing, it's twisting and turning and folding and pushing and helping with my another hand and a lot of swearing. It's even worse than the USB. To this day, there is simply no good phone mount system. All of them are trash.
I wonder if he has this one, is my question. Because I'll tell you, there's the one thing with the SP Connect, and I talk about it in the video, is it's hard to index. So here it is right here. I'm going to use the camera. Watch this. I'm going to use the emergency camera right here. This little connector on the back. When I go to click this in onto the mount, sometimes it's a little difficult. It slides around because you don't have it right there because it kind of has to fit in it. But once it goes and locks in and you turn it, I've never had one come out. And it does the magnetic charging and hangs out and it's vibration dampened and all the things. So I don't know what you're talking about. Is that fair?
Yeah.
Yeah. Tyson over here is pissed off because we didn't answer his question. What else you got for me about the 125?
Hold her wide open when you get it.
Well, let it break in a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would hold it wide open too. I wonder. And then Anthony tells, what does he say?
Anthony says, "Give him a sec, Tyson. There's a lot of stuff shows up on their screen, and you can always watch it later when it gets posted."
If he's 11 years old, his attention span is completely expired right now.
Yeah.
There's no way he's still watching this. And if he is, I give him credit. So what else do I got for him? So, Anthony, since you're a nice guy, why don't you just tag this? And this is straight to Tyson's thing. Actually, what has Tyson got in his YouTube channel? Let's check. We can't do it this year. It's on the other thing. What else does he need to know about a YZ125? Like coming off if he already understands two strokes. If he can start it, he can ride it, right? Take it easy when you get on him because it's like you get a lot of false confidence going from little wheels to big wheels. I always found, and it's a hell of a lot of bike. Like you can't manhandle it at your 11-year-old age yet, right?
Yeah. So
it's good that he doesn't want to go straight to a 450. I appreciate that. But give it some time. Take it easy. And if you're crashing, you're doing it wrong. That's what I always tell people. If you're crashing, guess what you're practicing?
The wrong thing.
Crashing. You're practicing crashing. Don't practice that. Practice never crashing. It's going to happen, but you don't want it to happen. So, yeah. Get a YZ125. Tell him Jimmy at this stupid podcast, Tech Talk Taco Tuesday, sent you to the Yamaha dealer, and they'll go, what? Maybe they'll give you a discount. Okay, back to the questions. Where are we at here? Here we go. What is Mark mountain bike rider?
So the question is 21 300 EX or this 450
Wait, I can see that better than you?
or two-stroke 300 EX.
There we go. So we compared a gas 450 EC450F, and he wants to know about the 300 EX. So he's basically asking the question, 300 two-stroke or 450 four-stroke. You can't talk about this because you don't know.
I have no idea.
You have no idea. Just four-stroke guy.
Yeah.
When was the last two-stroke you had?
85.
An 85.
When I was 10.
And you went from 85 to 250F.
Yeah.
So why doesn't Tyson need to go to 250F? Because he's got Yamaha two-stroke available to him?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Bryce? 300 two-stroke or 450 four-stroke?
Personally, I love the 300s, like the KTM 300.
Because your dad rides one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He had a Husky 300, and it felt like I was riding an 85, but it was a bigger bike in a way.
Yeah.
It was super nice, lots of power, and just that sound of a two-stroke, just whop whop.
And the reason you have a 450 is?
I'm a four-stroke guy. I had two 300s, two 50s.
Like racing.
Yeah,
racing. It's better. I think the 450 is better for like faster racing. If once you get in like extreme enduro, you'll never see a four-stroke out there. Like it's very rare. There's guys riding four-strokes, but and then I'm surprised we haven't seen more two-strokes at like GNCCs and stuff, because I know like all the guys, the fast guys are riding the 350s, but it's kind of what I would do, honestly, Mark the mountain biker, whatever you have now. If you have a four-stroke now, get a two-stroke. Just do it, because the change is kind of cool and it's a lot of fun. And then next time, buy a four-stroke again. You'll get super stoked, because I get to switch bikes all the time, and luckily I have an arsenal of machines that are tailor met for every particular need. I have like 7 different KTM 500s, and each one of them has like a different task. By the way, this show brought to you by Yamaha. I have a YZ450 FX, and when I want to really have fun in the sand washes, when the dirt's loamy, that's the bike I take. But back to all these stupid KTM 500s that I have, like one is set up as a rally bike, one is set up more as a quote a dual sport bike. I have one with a smaller tank that I'll ride when I want to go, like we'll call it more comfort trail riding, and then, but like right next to that is a 300 two-stroke that I'll take when I want to do something more gnarly. So it's all these different things, but most people's wives won't let you buy her that many motorcycles.
Yeah, I can't buy another one until I buy my wife one.
Oh, really? Yeah, my wife has 68 motorcycles right now.
Wow.
Yeah, she's got a lot, and she lets me ride them. It's really nice of her.
I got to give my wife a 150.
Right on. Okay. So Jimmy Cromwell says, hold on, you're going to have to read this. I don't like to talk about myself that much.
Jimmy Lewis, you are a genius. My 2017 Husqvarna FE 501 with a 13,000 miles burns oil. Took the top end apart and it looked great. Even the rings, piston, and cylinder were in spec.
Okay, so the next one.
Then I remembered something you said in a previous episode, that a seal in the head leaks so I ordered new rings and cam seal, and hopefully we'll ride her hard for another 13,000+ miles.
Well, look, the other Jimmy Cromwell, don't be calling me a genius yet. You get your problems sorted before. So it could be the cam seal. It's funny because my bike today was mine. Do you smell smoke on mine? You could smell it.
Yeah.
So my bike it's on its third piston, so it's got a lot of hours on it, and it's using oil. Like, in fact, the other day I went and rode it hard for a full tank of gas, and it was down. It probably was a little low when I started, and I put 300 cc's to bring it back up to a full thing, and I'm like, okay, it's using oil. So it'll be really interesting to see where it's at, because I was going to rebuild it because I got to take that thing down to Mexico because that's my go-to-Mexico bike. And so I want to rebuild it one more time. And when I do it, I'm going to do that seal. So what he's talking about is when quote, the mystery, where's the oil going, even though your piston and rings and the valve guide seals and everything are good, there's a seal on the cam. And when it basically, the way that the KTM works is the what do they call it? The crankcase pressure. The hose that usually comes out of the cylinder head.
The cylinder head.
Right. So there's like usually baffles or dampers inside of the engines, but that's where. So when that piston's moving up and down, it's creating crankcase pressure, and then when oil gets misty and a lot of high RPM and stuff, the oil's splashing around. Some of that oil like tries to blow out with the air that's going in and out with each compression stroke. On the KTM, that pressure goes through the center of the cam. Oh. So there's a seal there so that it can't go around the side of the cam. It has to go through the center. But when that seal starts wearing out, it actually creates a little bit of a vacuum, and then oil gets out there, and then it blows a lot of oil out. So my air filter, the screen on the air filter always has like oil drips on it because it's blowing it back. And so anyways, that's what I mentioned to him, or he watched another episode, and that's what we talked about. And it was a dilemma to me, and I actually called somebody at KTM and said, "Hey, have you ever seen this?" And I talked to a couple of the kind of the media guys, and they're, it's not a problem, it never happens, because they only see bikes for a year. Like, then they're on to the next year. Yeah. But I talked to a guy in the service department who used to work on race bikes, really sharp, guy named Charles Jersha. And Charles said, "Hey, I know, I think, because he's worked on some of his buddies' bikes that are as old as mine, and he's like, this is what we found out." And sure enough, it's works. So it's the crankcase vent. Brian, thank you. It's tiny. I never would have found it if you didn't mention it. I wouldn't have found it. Also, and guess what? What does Kevin want to tell us?
Stark Vargs don't have that problem, but the generator will.
The generator will? Yeah, your generator, you're pumping all that power into it. Or, and what happens if the tweakers want to cut down the power lines like you saw today?
Yeah.
Yeah, you won't have any Stark Varg. Your Stark Varg's going to be parked. So we're not going to talk. We're not going to say this one here because we don't. I hate it when people mention places. Like it's so like that. Anthony, is Kevin one of your friends? That was a pretty sharp comment. I appreciated it. So we're all gas all the time here. We hardly do. I might actually put up. I'm afraid if I post a nice review of that Can-Am, which I actually it's fairly positive. That's a Can-Am electric bike. It's fairly positive. There are some issues with just electric in general, but as far as that bike goes and all the things that it does, I actually found myself having fun. And when I gave it, I couldn't believe how much I missed it. It's expensive to have for what I was using it for, but I had fun every time I rode it and all the stuff. I got to get the thing. Kevin's going to use a Honda generator, so it won't be a problem. But lucky KTM doesn't make generators, because then it would be a problem. If you can you should get a Yamaha generator, because Yamaha is a sponsor of the show, and without Yamaha, I wouldn't sit here for 2 hours every Tuesday night, every third Tuesday night, whenever we decide to do the show. I wouldn't have nice people like Bryce on the show. I wouldn't have Nolan here, who's doing a really good job. I haven't had you translate any kanji or weird languages yet, which Logan used to be able to do. Okay. What is Mediocre Men 2 want to know?
Good review and willing to talk about the pros and cons and being realistic that most of us are not capable of pushing even less off-road capable bikes. Could use more interaction with the bike and functions, though.
Oh, thanks, Mediocre. Yeah, so that's an old review. That's 2018 Honda Africa Twin. And like most of our reviews on this site, we're pretty honest. I mean, it is what it is. Even if we were testing companies that are sponsoring us or helping us out with stuff, we're fair, and that's the everybody that supports us knows that's the way we are, and we appreciate that. But every time I do a review, and anybody that does stuff reviews, I'll let them post it. That work for us. I'll let them put stuff up on the site. But every time you do it, your credibility's on the line. Like if you just sit there and just gloss over something that is a known fault, like we talked about the show of forks topping out. If you don't talk about that and then it happens, if you, like I said, you need to go back and read one of the reviews. I can't tell you which one it was because the reason I wrote it down is so I don't ever have to remember it anymore. Mm-hmm. But if you, go back, we talk about this kind of stuff. And then usually when we complain about something, we try to find a solution for it. And that was something that I don't know if we ever actually did find a solution for it, but that's kind of what it is. But yeah, that's the way we try to do stuff. So if you're curious about something, go to dirtbiketest.com, type whatever you're curious about in the search engine. You'll be surprised at how much crap there is up there. I mean, really good content. So that some of it Trevor put up there. Excuse me. What's the next question in the chats?
With your 500, you dual sport, do you spring it for larger fuel tank and luggage?
I'm typically, because of my weight now, up a spring rate. Before, even with my luggage and stuff, I would be on stock springs, but now I'm a little bit heavier, so I've been going up a spring rate. And I have a what do they call the spring preload? I have an X-Trig spring preload, rear spring preload adjuster, so it's really easy. So even yesterday I went and zapped it. Were you there? No, it was when I was testing it. When I went down when they were testing, I go, hey, get me the 8mm. Went out there and adjusted it because it was wrong. So yeah, I adjust it. And then Brian Horton says,
my old WR blew a bunch of oil out the vent and into the airbox. Instead of fixing it, I just routed the hose out with the carb hoses, then sold it to the next poor fella.
That's one way.
Yeah,
fix the problem.
You didn't buy that bike, did you?
Nope.
He's another local. He used to be a local around
I did
here.
have a WR250.
Actually, his dad, he works with you. Brian's dad. Yeah. Brian's dad works with you. Brian used to work for me at the schools. He was just some kid we found running around town. He used to help us out at the schools. Really good kid. But I don't know about you, Brian. Now I found out you're selling out junker bikes. Hey, so most of the bikes, they vent that into the airbox for emissions reasons. Usually it goes through like a catch tank. On the old Honda race bikes, the old XR600s we used to race in Baja, they had there's an aluminum canister we had on it, and it's really popular on race cars and stuff, where that vent tube goes into a thing, and then the oil, it's an oil separator, and then the oil can drain back into the transmission side of the motor, or a less pressure area of the motor, and so it doesn't drip out on the ground, or what mostly for the emissions doesn't drip out on the ground, race cars, so the oil doesn't go anyplace. And then but yeah, in the air filter, if it tends to pool up, and sometimes it can make bikes smoke. Like old KTM RFS bikes, when you went down a really steep hill, they would pump that oil because the oil would start pooling up near where it pumped out, and it would pump it out into the air filter, and it was above the pickup. So it would drip down and you'd start going down long downhills. Your bike would start smoking like crazy. Everybody would think their bikes are going to blow up. And sometimes they'd start loaded up and running crappy too. So, yeah. So, yeah. What is Kevin?
Kevin says, what's your thoughts on steg pegs?
So steg pegs, for those that don't know, are these things that bolt on to the side of your bike, and it's like a hockey puck that's meant to catch your boot, so you can grip the bike. And they're generally, for most bikes, they're at a fixed position. I absolutely hate them.
Really? I have a pair on my bike.
I hate them. Well, good. We can talk about this.
Nice.
So I grip with my ankles, and when I want to hang on to the bike, and people say, well, people are like, well, grip with your knees and grip with the. It's like when you grip the bike. Do you know when you're supposed to grip the bike? When you're falling off of it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta save yourself.
Yeah. So it has a lot to do with your riding, but I found, and I like to ride down really steep downhills, and when I ride down really steep downhills, when my legs went past where those pegs were, it made me more bow-legged. I kind of had to open my legs up, because otherwise it forced me far forward. I couldn't get back on the bike like I wanted to, and then it by nature it pivoted my ankles away from the bike, which I was hanging off, and I fell off the bike more.
Was yours in a fixed position? Could you adjust yours?
They were the ones that I used. The very first ones, they were in a fixed position. They weren't adjustable, and I've heard they've become adjustable.
Yeah, mine's adjustable, and it's amazing.
So if I were just pounding hoops relentlessly, and I didn't have to go up or down hills, or mostly downhills, but I could see where they could be an advantage. There's certain things where, and I know there's some professional supercross guys that run them, so they can hang on to the bike when they're going through the hoops and stuff like that. But I always say, if you have to grip the bike when everything's going well, something's wrong. Like you're reacting to a problem. You should be able to be pretty relaxed on the bike when it's doing its thing, and everybody says, well, you're never going to be like that. I'm like, spend more time working on your suspension, and spend more time. We talked about this today too, didn't we?
I think so, yeah.
Riding loose on the bike, and how to do that. How did that go?
We're good.
You have to fight for it a little bit, right?
Yeah.
In the beginning, you realize how much you're gripping and hanging on.
Yeah.
And then you start realizing, if I anticipate what's going to happen, if I allow the bike to move around, pick better lines, different things like that. But so I'm not a fan of steg pegs, but you are.
Yeah. Yeah, I run mine kind of back further more, just for that reason, because that you mentioned.
The downhill problem.
Yeah, because I had mine all the way forward at once to grip my ankles really hard, but like you said, when you go downhill, you end up sliding off the back, and you catch them with the front of your boot.
But it's mostly to stop you from falling back on the bike, correct?
Yeah, like going up rocky hills, it's so helpful.
Because you kind of lock in, and then your boot bumps into them. So it's not really your ankle that's holding on. It allows your kind of
it catches
thigh
like
with calf. I guess your calf to hang on, and just because I don't like them doesn't mean they're good or bad. It's because there's another thing, like there's these pivot pegs. Have you ever seen those things? They're pegs that pivot. I deplore those things. It's one of the worst things that we did a blind foot peg test. And they put them on the motorcycle, and I literally almost fell off the bike 3 or 4 times because I couldn't, because I used the rocking motion of my foot on the foot peg, evidently, to tell me what's going on. And when all of a sudden I lost that,
that's weird.
I lost my balance. So they're definitely for a purpose, and I would think that it's masking a problem that could be corrected other ways. This is probably the way that I would put it, but there was more disadvantages than advantages. I definitely could feel that if you were doing a very consistent thing, I could see where that could be a good thing. And we've seen it even like with what some stuff they're doing, like with seats. Now we call them gull wings, where the seats now, instead of kind of they get kind of fat just a little bit past the middle part of the seat, and it's not an upper part of the seat, even though some of the comfort seats do this. It's on the lower part of the seat, and it's the same thing. It's a softer version of that. Mm-hmm. So instead of being a hard plastic thing, the seat allows you to kind of grip up there.
Yeah, seat concept makes seats like those.
Yep. Yep, and they're on factory rally bikes, for instance,
super
sometimes.
Nice, so nice.
Yeah. What's Kevin's next question? Kevin, you have a 3-question limit on this show.
What is the best tire for hard enduro?
Especially after he told us that we should just all ride Stark Vargs. I think that's what he's implying from Northern California. The best tire for hard enduro. Dude, those gummy tires are ridiculous.
I like the golden gummies.
Yeah, a lot of people do. I don't have a ton of experience with all the different brands. I used to do stuff with Kenda, and they had a Ibex gummy or something like that. My problem is that the durability on them is relatively poor. And so even though back in the Kenda days I had the Ibex, I preferred the Equilibrium, which looks like a kind of oversized Trials tire with a little wider spacing, and it has that gummy rubber on it. But in some of the gummy tires almost look like sand tires, kind of tall knobs and big knobs, and I never liked those because they didn't stick on the rocks as well. And we have more rocks out here, but I guess back east those things kind of can, hook up on roots better. So it really depends on what kind of hard enduro you're doing, where you're doing it. Let's see here. Anthony is texting me. Also, before he forgets. Oh yeah, that's another thing I got to work on. So you have any hard enduro experience?
No.
No.
I do a little bit.
A little bit?
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. And I know the golden tires are kind of a lot of favorites for some people.
Metzler has a 6 days gummy tire that I've used trail riding. That's nice.
Yeah. How long did it last?
I haven't put light trail riding lasts quite a while.
Yeah. Yeah. I was kind of just, I don't know. I just quit spinning my tire as I got older, and I don't need them. I don't even. Oh yeah, the IRCs. I actually so I tested some of those. The IRC. What do they call those things? It's I guess they're called 33s, something 33s, but they have a weird name. And then Rocky Mountain ATV MC also has a gummy tire that wasn't. That's what I compared it to. I did a kind of back to back on between those two tires that I remember doing, and I bet you for the price point, it's pretty incredible.
Have you ever tried the Tusk gummies?
That's what I'm talking about. The Tusk,
is?
the Rocky Mountain Tusk. By the way, if you want to support this channel, you can always click through our link for Rocky Mountain ATV MC if you need to get some parts that. It puts a little bit of gas money in Trevor's pocket, I think, allegedly. Before I skim my cut right off the top. Only after he meets a certain threshold that I take all of it before that time, because I'm into that kind of business. A couple of our sponsors, Bulletproof Designs. Do you have you like front disc protectors?
I don't have a front disc protector. I got the rear one.
Rear's really good. Front's not so much. So I complain about them all the time. So Bulletproof Designs may be a breakable front disc protector.
Yeah.
Made out of balsa. It was actually nice wood. You want one of these? What?
Seems like it.
It's got a little Paps logo on it.
Oh yeah, look at that.
It says it floats.
Nice.
Yeah.
Lightweight.
Can be used as firewood.
Yep, it's the Jimmy Lewis Superlight version. So Bulletproof Designs makes really good protection stuff. Disc protectors, radiator protectors, front disc guards if you want to run them. And if you listen to some of the older shows, you'll hear my disdain for front disc rotor protectors because I feel like it throws the bike off balance. Kind of like what your forks are doing on your bike. Like that's why I don't put those on mine, because I have a problem.
Yeah. Yeah, I just ran the one that came on the bike.
Yeah. Let's see here. What other questions do we have here? Here's a question. What is Tip and Jin want to know?
He says, how heavy are the How heavy are the heaviest test riders? I'm a hard riding GNCC style vet rider, but I'm 6'4" and around 255 pounds. So I'm thinking the 450 XCF will be better suited for my weight and such.
So that comparison's quite old from what I recall, I think. And he's comparing the gas and the KTM. So they're kind of the same bikes, overall. And they're running on basically the same suspension with different settings. So I don't think there's going to be a big difference. But how heavy are our test riders? Our test riders are our heaviest ones are probably 230, 240. Our big tall guy, our 6'7" guy is probably around 230. He's a stick. So, yeah, I don't think between those two bikes one would be any better because you're going to have to spring it. At that weight, you definitely need to spring the bike. And I don't remember the gas or the KTM being more roomy. KTM's always felt pretty roomy to me, especially older ones, but they think they're getting a little bit more compact in the more recent days. So that's where I'm at. 2021 Yamaha Tenere 700 full test. Brian Martindale wants to know.
Where do I first go for the word on a dirt bike I am interested in? Dirt Bike Test and Jimmy Lewis. Heather's perspective added depth on a great review on the T7.
Oh, wow. Thanks. That's nice. Yeah, my wife tested the bike and then we bought it for her. Yeah, that's her Tenere out there.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Dumzelade
says, did you have to trim the shrouds? If so, can you go back to the stock tank with shrouds trimmed?
So he's talking about the IMS 4.5 gallon fuel tank for a KTM. And no, you can't go back after you trim the shrouds because I was trying to update the way one of my bikes looked, and I had trimmed a set of shrouds for that tank, and I went to put them on a stock tank, and it doesn't work because the IMS has a different. They kind of sit on the stock tank, but they mount to something different, and you have to cut off a piece that's integral in making that happen. So, Gas 450 versus Triumph 450.
Our Keen VT says, great review. Which engine has less vibration and is smoother? I am looking to pick up a 450 and played it for trail riding.
Let's see. I'm putting the check down on Trevor's thing. He didn't answer a question in his review. He didn't go back and help this poor guy out to let him know. I'm going to have to guess because I didn't ride those two bikes back to back. They're both they're like I like I said, today's one of the first days I've noticed vibration on a dirt bike in a long time. And I don't think it didn't stand out on either of those bikes. I've ridden both of those bikes and neither of them stood out. I would say the gas would be like, I wonder if smoother means which one is more comfortable. I'm going to say the gas is more comfortable because it's just overall softer. The Triumph's a little more peppy, a little more race. And played it for trail riding. Yeah, they're so close. They're all great bikes. I think he's talking to somebody but me here because what does Hassel 1106 say?
It says you guys are legends.
Yeah, he's talking about Trevor. Okay, now we did this this video about XR650 versus KTM 500, and we've got somebody who's buying one. What do you think he's buying?
XR650.
No, he's buying a KTM 500 because I said it was better. And then somebody says, "Ha ha, too much dust." Like, how does that work? And then Jimmy Cromwell again. He's commenting a lot. Jimmy, you're getting our top commenter award. You know, when I actually do this show, when I do it professionally for real soon in the future, when I try to make this show better, after 250 some odd episodes, I'm going to figure out how to make it work. I think I'm going to have a giveaway, like a box for the best comment or some nice thing, and then we're just gonna have a box of all this stuff that I have, like free stuff. It'd be like Ricky Brabeck posters. I'll have them autographed. Someone you just reach in the box and pull it out, and that's what our best comment. Because right now, Jimmy Cromwell would win that if I actually had that up and running, that program or something. But you know, for your appearance on the show tonight, Bryce, I think I'm going to get you a Tech Talk Taco Tuesday T-shirt.
All right.
Yeah, and I don't know about you. You're gonna have to. You still have to go edit that road book, that horrible road book we did today.
Yeah.
You got to learn how to use Rally Navigator. Rally Navigator, a proud sponsor of Jimmy Lewis Rally Training. So it says he says, "I'm with you, Jimmy Lewis. The KTM 500 is amazingly reliable and so much more fun to ride than the XR." Have you ridden an XR 650?
Once.
Once? And then you just wished you had a KTM 500 like I did all day today?
No.
Nope. So we had a shocking experience today.
Yeah, we did have a shocking experience.
So of course, like nothing ever goes as planned, and we stopped on this road. We kind of got a little bit off track. We stopped. My GPS unit, the Trail Tech GPS unit, by the way, Trail Tech sponsor of the show, they help us out. Battery, the contacts on the back of the unit, these units have thousands of miles on them. Something was going wrong with it. We were trying to zip tie it down because it was getting power, but it ran out of battery, and we couldn't get it to contact, and it was in a case that was difficult. So making excuses, basically battery went dead, and we were using it to see where the real track went as opposed to the road book to verify it. And because we used buddy tracking. And so I could see where Nolan was, and Nolan could follow my track because Nolan didn't have a road book. He just had yours worked perfect all day long.
Mine worked good all day.
Yeah. We had to use it a couple of times because that Brabeck road book was substandard. That guy needs 2.5 years in the making. So we'll see what Skylar's like. Skylar's got homework assignment he's working on.
Yeah.
So you're probably going to get to verify that one too.
Okay.
So back to the story. We parked on this road. We were fiddling around with, and I couldn't figure out why the Voyager wasn't working. We're zip tying it, trying to crank it down because we could pinch it and we could get it to charge. And then I was trying to put sticks in it to force it down, zip ties, all that stuff. And I touched my bike. And the buttons where my rally computer thing is, where my buttons are, it gave me a shock, like right here on my thumb. And I'm like, whoa. And I'm like, that's weird. And I touched it again. I'm like, Nolan, try this. So he touches, like, So I was like, that's weird. And I'm like, something's really screwed up. Maybe that's what's the problem with the Voyager is. And then I'm like, I'm going to start taking my seat off because I think there's something that's hitting the frame it's gonna ground. The bike's gonna come to. I've seen batteries catch on fire and all kinds of stuff. So we started checking it. We were fiddling around for a little while. What'd you do?
Oh, I looked up and I saw power lines, and then I went and checked my bike, and it shocked me too. So our bikes were grounding out on the power lines.
Yeah. Like if you're, because I've had this happen before. I was riding down a road a long time ago under a power line, and I was getting shocked constantly. You know, I was touching, and I put my finger on the lever, and I get shocked. But I was just touching. It was just this one part where the anodizing was wearing away. That's where we kept touching it. But then I touched my triple clamp, and I noticed it was there, and I'm like every place. And then he went and touched his bike, and he's like, and we're like, oh, we got ready to strip my bike down. Anyway, so it just, boys and girls, when you're riding underneath power lines, remember your bike can get a little sparky. So just so you know. Okay. What is the Theo Steppen?
The Austrian painter.
Oh, the Austrian painter. You would think that as a former magazine editor, I could read, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
He says, I don't know. Don't get me wrong. Both bikes are awesome, but hands down, the KTM engine is higher RPM engine and has more moving parts. The Honda has fewer moving parts and doesn't rev as high. That translate into reliability and running longer. Let each bike sit in a barn for 20 years, pull them both out, and do the basic maintenance. Which one will run? My money is on the Honda any day of the week.
Oh, I'm going to argue with this guy. So KTM 500 has this amazing thing called fuel injection. Fuel injection doesn't have pilot jets or carburetor orifices to plug up or seals inside of the carburetor orifices to rot and all this stuff. I know because I have a 20-year-old XR650 sitting in the garage that needs to have the carburetor come off of it. And that's the only reason I'm probably not riding it. And I would guess if you pulled those engines apart and laid every piece out in the ground, I wonder if that's Alamangos, the Australian painter. I know a guy. If you laid all the pieces out, I would be willing to bet that the KTM actually has less pieces inside of the motor. The Honda, the XR they have a lot of little extra things in there. They're built like a tank. Don't get me wrong, but I'd like to take a bet with you on that. What does 2U's V43FX say?
Sounds like a great do-everything bike to replace my YZ250X.
He's talking about the 2024 KTM 300 XCW TBI, and I'm just going to click ban this guy because this show is brought to you by Yamaha. If you say anything bad about Yamahas on the show, we just ban you. So, Power Sports Enthusiast 1986.
On the reliability comment, though he may be correct, it's not possible to know when only going off of your own experiences, which is what it sounds like he's doing here.
What else do I have to go off of? So, my experiences, let's see. I happen to know a guy who won a whole lot of Baja 1000s on XR650s, right? Mm-hmm. So I've seen them used in full fury. Been around a lot of people that run KTM, I don't want to say 500s, but 450s and stuff in rally and all this stuff. You know, I've seen a couple things. So Power Sport Enthusiast 1986, like I'll debate you. Have me on your podcast. I'll go on episode number 2 after you start your podcast. I'll come on as a guest host. You'll get thousands of views, guaranteed. Millions. No, not like this show.
Yeah,
you won't get
true.
the millions. It takes a little while to build up to millions. What is Doug Derby?
Doug Derby says, I have a 501. Agree with Jimmy, but there was no KTM Husky 500, 501. Don't forget the 570 Bergs.
Right. Where's the bell? Thank you, Doug. I talked about the Husaberg already today, but so we're talking about if you could only have one bike, XR650 versus KTM 500. There's no question. I don't even know how the XR650 got brought into that conversation, but it did. It's a good bike. Don't get me wrong, but I think we were talking about 20 years ago and then now, sort of a deal on this stupid podcast when it was only 9 episodes old. So you probably have to listen to the thing in full context. And but if there was no KTM Husky 500 501, there is. So you don't. Yeah, I know the Husaberg is a great bike until you have to work on it. If you had to work on it, you'd be like Kendall out there right now. He's in the garage working on stuff that's like high maintenance and takes a lot of time. BRP USA.
KTM 500, 510, agree. Bulletproof, reliable, and very easy to service. I've owned 3 since 2006. The only failure I've experienced was a rectifier.
Yeah. And you want to know what's broken on my XR650?
Rectifier?
The voltage regulator rectifier. The whole electrical system's a little cattywampus, along with the carburetor. I sold that bike to some guy. He bought it. He gave me the money for it. He came. He said he was going to come pick it up. He come to pick it up. And he said he couldn't take it. Gave me some money to hold it. And then a couple weeks later, called me back and said, "Hey, I want my money back." Or something where he goes, I don't know what, he wanted to buy another bike. He wanted to trade or something like that. I don't remember. I think I still, I want to give him his money back. And I haven't heard from him for a while. But he owns the bike. I should just, he needs to come and get the bike. If you want an XR 650, I'll sell it to you for less than what he bought it for, and then I'll just give him all the money. So I think it's about $4,000. It's a nice 650. It's got the Baja Designs electric start kit on it. It has the 6-gallon of Chirby's tank. I have all kinds of stock parts. Great bike. It was just rebuilt like less than 2,000 miles ago, and it only has like 40,000 miles on it. And it only sucks sand really bad like 3 times. But that's a Honda for you. It can suck sand and keep running.
My buddy rode his bike 50 miles with no oil in it, and it was a Honda.
And then you put oil in it and kept riding it?
No, it blew up eventually.
Oh. Yeah, I always kept oil in mine, but I've never seen a motorcycle eat as much sand as that one did and just keep running. And I've never seen a motorcycle benefit from a top-end rebuild like that bike did after that. And the valves are still in spec. Everything's good. And the cylinder wasn't even that bad. I just put piston and rings in it, and it's a good, that bike, I'd take it and go ride it right through the Altar Desert one more time. It was a good times. What does Abj 5609 say about this?
Says, I agree. I have a 2018 500 EXC, 422 hours, including 4 seasons as a snow bike. The valves are still in spec. It's the most reliable motorcycle I've ever owned, and I've owned a lot.
So this is the kind of comment that we get on things like this, talking about it. And it's very rare that somebody takes the time to post. I mean, he's bragging a little bit about his bike, like I'm kind of bragging about some of mine that have a lot of time on them. But usually what you see on the internets is people just like, my bike blew up. And what was, and I always go, what'd you do to it? Well, I put a ECU on it, and then they didn't have a rev limiter, and then it blew up, or what? Everybody talks about how it blew up. And generally after a guy's bike blows up, then 16 of his friends repost that. And then somebody cuts and copies the photo and says, look what happens to every one of these. And this is I think this is way more common than the blowing up part. And I'm not just saying this for KTMs or Hondas or Yamahas or anything. I think things are generally way more reliable than they're ever given credit for. And so good on you, Abj. When is the next episode of Text Talk Taco Tuesday coming out? Says Josh Cleghorn. It's right now.
Yeah, right now.
Right now.
Present.
Yeah, 4 days ago. So 4 days. You just wait 4 days. ADV Versity _CND says,
too much vibration for me. I would rather have a CRF 450L.
Sounds like a Nolan to me. Well, you know what? What did I complain about today? Vibration. Yeah. Did you have vibration?
No.
None. Because your Honda was just buttery smooth all day long.
Honda was buttery smooth.
You sure?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. And then Hetty 711, he's talking about my Tour of Idaho video. It says, is this map still available? So Butler Maps or one of those companies had a map. I don't think it's still available. It's kind of like a one time or kind of just during that year. You could always reach out to them. They may have some still around, but I don't know. Caleb Wilson says
14 grand.
What's 14 grand? If you bought both of those bikes used, you get them both for 14 grand. 4,000. I'll sell it right now, Caleb. I will sell you the XR 650 that we're talking about for 4 grand. And I'll sell you any of my KTM 500s right now for 10 grand. So for 14 grand, you can have both of the bikes we're talking about. And then you can do a video on YouTube about which one is better because you'll have them both. And then nobody has to listen to me anymore. Is that fair?
Sounds like a good deal to me.
Good deal, yeah. You got 14 grand?
Shit, it's in my bike.
My wife would like it because she actually, we're talking about getting her a beta cross trainer. Like
I heard
just
about those, yeah.
shrinking down a little bit. Yeah. The KTM 300 is a little much right now. So, and she's not on the Blue Crew. She's really not a Yamaha fan. This show brought to you by Yamaha.
Yamaha's are bulletproof, man.
They're bulletproof, but they're a little too spicy for her. She honestly likes the orange ones better than the blue ones. She doesn't really. I got to get her on a YZ250. She might 2-stroke. She might like that. But anyways, my Rosie 111.
Can't argue with him. I've had one myself, and it's brilliant. I met a guy with a 2018 model, and it has 30,000 kilometers, 800 hours on it, and all he's done is standard maintenance and 3 batteries.
Yep. You can't argue with me. More adventure?
Says, love my 6 days. Also, love my Gen 1 built out KLR 650.
Well, he just degraded his whole, like if you love your KLR 650, that's weird.
Yeah. I didn't know they had them.
Hey, people ask me all the time. It's like, hey, I want to get an adventure bike. What's the best one? I say KLR 650. Like, what? I'm like, yeah. Because usually they don't know what they don't know, and it's like, get one of those. You can buy one cheap, new or used. They all cost the same. I don't know why, and this is why I'm joking, because he says built out. Don't build it out. Just sell it. When you need to build the KLR out, now you're polishing a turd. Don't polish a turd. Go get something different. KLR 650. Great bikes. Can you help Beehive Enduro, Nolan?
Been looking at the 450 RX as a National Hare and Hound desert build. Love how narrow it is underfoot versus the X, but also wish it had one more gear.
Is he talking about the width between the foot pegs when he says underfoot?
Yeah, I guess.
Can you feel a difference between X and RX?
No.
I mean,
they feel pretty similar.
I've never noticed it. I know it's a little bit wider.
I mean, the X might be a little wider, but not enough to really notice it.
Yeah.
Maybe if you went back to back, but
I've gone back to back. And it's funny because I've gone back to back, and almost every single time in every condition except when you get to motocross, I kind of preferred the X. If I was going to put my money on it, I would go with X almost every time. And that's, I guess maybe that's an old guy. The new RX, it got a lot better. Like 2 years ago, they did some changes that seemed like it made a leap. Just the handling got a little more like X-like, and I don't know what that is. I think it's more front end biased. Like it seemed like they got stiff. The motocross bike got stiff in the front, and the RX didn't like it. The motocross bike, I liked it, but the RX didn't seem like it helped it. And then it seems like the new changes, it seems like it's come back. I don't know, but the X has always just been just easy. The X is just easy to ride.
yeah,
That's what I like about it. That's what you're riding today, but you're riding old version.
First Gen X, yeah.
Yeah, old version X. We got in trouble here. So somebody must have shared our episode number 253 of Tech Talk Taco Tuesday, where I had Jerry Counts on, who I referred to as the godfather of dual sport. And then it seems like all the other old dual sport guys, the guys that have been around, like Damon Powell I think this is Damon Powell. Yeah, first time listener, Mike Peelan informed me many of the names mentioned attended Team Dual Dogs rides. So Damon was a dual sport promoter back in the day. It's kind of funny because me and him, I used to ride with him and stuff, and then they started doing these dual sport rides, and they were using a lot of they were getting people to pay him because his was a for-profit operation. They were getting people to pay him to go out and ride a lot of trails, and they were sort of overusing trails. And I got a little upset that they weren't giving anything back. Like, these weren't the guys going out and maintaining the trails. They were just going out and using them. And if you've ever put time in working on trails, making a good trail, and then it gets obliterated by a bunch of guys who paid $40 to go spin their tires on it and dig it all up, you're probably not very happy. You know what I mean? Bryce? You know what I mean?
That happens all the time.
yeah, I know. You guys are out there making trails. You know this. So me and Damon kind of had a little. We had some discussions about this, and it was all good. And I think he ended up spending a lot more time working on the trails. He would go out and do it himself. I told him he needs to get like 40 of the guys that go on his damn rides to come out and help him to get it done a lot quicker. James Pillion is the godfather of dual sport. That is direct misinformation. That Jerry counts as the godfather of dual sport. I know we explain it pretty good on the show. You can listen to the show, episode 253. Let's see. Too bad, says Dr. Dan DC. He's not the real godfather of dual sport. Jim Pylon is the godfather of dual sport. So Jim was definitely a figure in the dual sport. I remember from when the early dual sport rides, he was right there. So don't know. Obviously somebody was not happy with what I said, and they shared it and got all their friends to comment. But that's what makes the internet's a great place. And what does Scott Miller say?
He says, dude had one too many beers.
And on that note, I think we should just cancel this whole show. But hold on, we got a couple questions. Anthony says, my hand is not a good multimeter. That was pretty good today.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. Moto Venture 2539.
He says, Voyager Pro is by far my favorite GPS, but the cradle can be a nightmare. Killed a couple of them so far in both versions of the screw and spring cradle. It's one of the middle pins that gets struck. Moto Venture is 100% correct and true. I agree with you. That thing uses a lot of power. Voyager Pro uses a lot of power, and it's a lot of power going through a little pin with a little spring behind it, and all the different cradles. You've got to pay attention to them. The only thing I can say is that don't let them run dead on the bike and then try to charge them through on the bike. It's better to charge them off the bike with a controlled charge. Let's see. You can loosen it with WD-40. I replaced my battery in a Voyager Pro unit before discovering it was stuck pin in the cradle, causing an intermittent connection, which created the charging issue. Yeah, the cradles go bad. And if, like I said, those springs get hot and then they lose their tension, they don't push up into the thing. That's what I knew what the problem was. That's why I couldn't squeeze it down hard enough. And I've actually pulled the cradles apart and pulled the spring and stretched them back out to make them work. But having a little dielectric grease helps stuff, because basically if the contact's bad, it increases the heat at that location and it wears the spring out. So with that, what do we have upcoming? What's kind of cool? Well, we were gonna do more rally talk, but we didn't do rally talk because the rally guys are all tired. Real rally guys only rode half a day today, but fake rally guys rode all day. Yeah. They don't want to come on. They're busy. What else? Hot Shoe Hall of Fame, end of January. That supports a good cause. Shoes for the people that need shoes, and it's also a great way to see washed up ex-motorcycle racers get inducted into Hall of Fame, and you can race me at go-karts, which evidently Gene Woods is pulling 17. He's got 0.6 of a second on me around the track right now, but I don't own the track. He does. So anything else? What do you got going on, Bryce? Where's your next race?
January in Good
Okay.
Springs.
Let's get that fork working by then.
Mm-hmm.
Nolan, what's up
I'm
for you?
excited.
Probably check chase beginning of the year.
Check chase beginning of the year. You know, Trevor just wrote a story about all of the different races, the history of all those old races up on Dirt Bike Test. He got a free entry, so he had to write a story, and he doesn't realize how bad of a deal he got on that. But the thing is, I'm pretty sure Trekker's threatened to kill him if he didn't put it up, didn't post it. So if it really favors the Checkers as the better club in that story, you just know that those guys know how to lay heat on people they don't like. So, okay, everybody. Thanks for watching the show. Thanks for commenting, posting. We will probably see you on the next episode. And if I ever get time to edit these and put them up on the other things, the YouTubes or Facebooks or whatever, we'll do that too. So on behalf of Yamaha for sponsoring the show, all of our other sponsors like Bulletproof Designs, DDC Sprockets, Climb. Oh, I didn't talk about how awesomely comfortable I was all day with all my nice Climb gear, did I?
No.
I was wearing the 1.0 underlayers. Yep, super comfortable because we started. It was pretty cold. Got kind of toasty in the middle of the day. Cold at night because it was almost dark when we got back in. I was really happy with all of my Climb gear. If you need Climb gear, hit me up. I might even have a discount code. So any questions, comments, concerns, leave them in the comments, and we're going to sign off, and we won't be here anymore. So with that, we'll see you out on the trail. Okay, cheers, everybody. I got to remember how to turn the show off. So you have to push some buttons someplace. I don't know how it works. There's a button over here that makes it go away. I think there's an exit thing. Stop. End show. Done. If you liked what you saw in this video, come check us out over at dirtbiketest.com on the webs. We have bike tests, product tests, a lot of fresh dirt, and you can even support us by clicking through our links. Hopefully, we'll see you out in the trail.